Peace and great bliss. Welcome. Grand Rising. It's a beautiful day. It's a little bit overcast here in the Northwest, Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh. I made a superb cup of tea this morning. I'm a big green tea drinker, but lately I've been wanting some comfort. I mean, there's a certain amount of comfort in green tea, but not the same as in breakfast tea. And it really gets the energy flowing. So I'm Tamu Agena, Priestess Heart. And why do I like to use the moniker Priestess Heart? I've always been drawn to Kuan Yin, compassion and mercy. I've always been drawn to Mother Mary images. And I understand that the heart, the element of the heart is fire. This is intense energy that emanates from our hearts. I remember years ago when I was first learning Reiki, and I used to use my 3 older children. They're all grown now, 2 in graduate school, 1 is about to graduate college. I used to use them as guinea pigs because it was my right as their mother to use them as guinea pigs. So I would practice Reiki on them. So one day I had the 3 of them come in and I did Reiki on them. And the third one, my musician, I did Reiki on him and then had him turn around to do Reiki on me. And once he arrived at my heart energy center, and the moment he was beginning to put his hand over my heart, Grand Rising Pablo, the moment he put his hand over my heart, I just felt this intense quickening, and I literally saw my heart vortex spin open. I saw it as the Milky Way, like how we see the images of the Milky Way. And I remember, and I felt this intense energy, and I saw it, and I grabbed my son's hand. I was like, whoa, oh. It was really intense and sort of shocked me. So I truly believe, cultivating the energy of our heart, utilizing that energy, embracing it, healing through it. So that's why I like the moniker Princess Heart, Priestess Heart. And my kids call me Princess sometimes too. Okay. So what's in your cup this morning? I have my English breakfast tea, and you do see some clumps in there. Sometimes I don't get them all dissolved, and that's okay. That is powdered goat's milk. And I wanted to ease into the session this morning because I quite literally, I wake up and then I come in here to do the live stream. I want to stay on top of things. So it's like my body is still waking up and all of that good stuff. Pavel has green tea in his cup today. Very cool. Cool beans. I love green tea. Green tea is actually really, really, really good for your teeth. Like when I've had issues where a carie has developed, I get out my tea tree oil. I get out my green tea as well as my powdered green tea, which I'll use to rub into my gums and rub into my teeth and drink my tea. Your teeth can heal themselves from the initial stages of caries. before they get too deep and then they're really determined a deep cavity. But you can heal. Dentists will tell you, oh no, you can't heal a cavity. But remember, your body is a living organism. The bones are living, the teeth are living. And it was confirmed to me because I remember going to the dentist several years back. And the hygienist, I swear, she had the energy. She could have been a dentist. She was freaking amazing. She was like, oh, I see you have some self-healed cavities here. And I was like, yeah. All right, I did enough gabbing. I think I'm sufficiently awake now. Today's hexagram is hexagram number 20. And Benabel Wen, well, let's see. Osho I Ching Padma Devi, the artist. This one is called Contemplation. So what does it say? Gaining overview, detached observation, increased understanding, solitude, which I spend a lot of time in solitude. I love solitude. Integration through reflection. Welcome, Divine L, and a few other people in the background who we see you, we feel your energy, we know you're there. Welcome. And Benabel Wen calls this hexagram critique, reassessment, audit yourself. Welcome, Lapo. Welcome. So we have that. But before we get to the hexagram, we will connect with the Divine Feminine this morning. So we'll see. Let's see. We're going to pick one today. Okay. Okay. Lilith. Lilith is our sixth card. So we're going to go with Lilith for today. How is everyone? How is everyone? I have some breakfast tea, English breakfast tea. Pavel has some green tea. And what is the rest of you? What do you have in your cups? So Lilith, power. I dance my life for myself. I am whole. I am complete. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I dance the dark and the light, the conscious and the unconscious, the sane and the insane, and I speak for myself authentically, with total conviction, without regard for how I might look. All the parts of myself flow into the whole. All my divergent selves unite as one. I listen to what needs to be heard. I never make excuses. I feel my feelings deeply and profoundly. I never hide. I live my sexuality to please myself and pleasure others. I express it as it needs to be expressed, from the core of myself, from the wholeness of my dance. I am female, I am sexual, I am power, I am greatly feared. So there you go. Ooh, we have some coffee. I hear you, Divine L. I'm not completely awake yet myself, but I'm getting there and waking up with you guys. And Lapalea Ann has chai, spice, and milk. Very good. And thanks for not saying chai tea. Oh my gosh. Every time someone says chai tea, I'm like, oh my goodness, you're saying tea twice. It's just chai. I love to make chai, masala chai. I remember the first time I made it. Now, I didn't know that's what it was called. Back in when I was like 19, I used to really frequent between the ages of 19 to 21, a lot, or 22. I frequented the Hare Krishna temple, New Panihati in Atlanta, and I love my foundational, my memories there. It's beautiful. But one of the women, she was just a couple of years older than me. She invited myself and my mother over to her house, and she was making tea for us. And she was the tea, the black tea, the water, and she put milk and all these spices in it. And I just knew that as tea. And I started making it. And then years later, that's when quote unquote chai tea started becoming popular. And every place I went, I hear chai tea. And I was like, what is chai tea? What is chai tea? What is that? And then I think I went somewhere. Oh, I know what it was. I worked at the coffee shop and they were making it. And I was like, oh, that's masala chai. Oh, I get it now. I've been making that for years, before it became a trend. And I love it. Oh my goodness. Oh, I need a cup of that, Lapo. But I'm close, kind of close. The only spice I have, well, it's not really spice, it's maple syrup powder. So, oh yes, I should have put some cinnamon. I like to have cardamom, cinnamon, ginger. I even put cayenne in mine. Well, black pepper, but I like to put cayenne. Uh-oh, the munchkins up. Okay, so let's get back to the mythology of Lilith. Lilith was originally the Sumerian queen of heaven, a goddess older than Inanna. The Hebrews took the goddess and transformed her into the first wife of Adam, who refused to lie beneath him when having intercourse. She insisted that because they were created equal, they needed to have sex equally. When Adam refused, she left him. Thereafter, in Jewish mythology, she was described as a demon. Yeah, she's considered to be a demon who kills children, kills babies. So you have to protect your babies. And, I remember learning that. And something about it didn't quite set right with me. It's like, since when do women go out, since when does the female energy go out to kill babies? When it's the female energy that brings babies into the world. That's horrific. That's not true. So Lilith appears to tell you to take back your power. Where are the places you have lost or given away your power? What beliefs do you hold that deny your power? Have you been told that powerful women never find mates? Or that women can't have power because that would make them unfeminine? Have you been teased, shunned, ostracized by others when you stepped into your power? Are you afraid of misusing your power to dominate or manipulate? Lilith says that the way to wholeness for you now lies in acknowledging that you are not connecting with your power. Then second, coming to terms with and accepting your power. I know I've struggled much of my adult life, and I still kind of, I have to admit that there are times that I still kind of struggle with it, where, I've been in situations where just talking and sharing with people, sometimes people have said to me, I've had people treat me like I was an authority of something, and I'm like, I'm not an authority. Or I've had people kind of step back and look at me. And what I've done a lot of my life is, like, I've not spoken up. I've been quiet because I've been afraid that people might take me as bossy, or that people might think a certain way about me. So I'll tend to kind of step back in the shadows and not really speak up. I remember one time I was in this gathering of women, and we were going around the table. I'm so, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about this now. We were going around the table and we were all introducing ourselves and kind of sharing who we are and what we do. And thank you, Pavel. Thank you. We were doing that. And people would come around and they would say, "Oh, I'm Tina, and I'm a musician, and I blah 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 blah." When it came to me, I was like, "I'm Tamu. I'm a mother of four, and I live down the street." And then it went to my friend who was sitting next to me. She's like, "Well, she's Tamu, and she leads meditation, and she's a massage therapist, and she's this amazing artist, and she does this." And I was like literally getting so embarrassed. And I mean, it felt nice, but at the same time, I was really embarrassed. So, but then afterwards I thought about it. It's like, why didn't I share about really who I am? Because all of that is me. And yeah, so that's something I still work on. Something I still work on. So Lilith is here to remind us to know our power, step into our power. And one of my sons said to me yesterday, "Mom, thank you for empowering me." And I was like, "No, honey, I'm not empowering you. I'm just reminding you of your power. The power comes from you. You empower yourself." So that goes for all of us. Goes for all of us. Okay, so let's get on down to the nitty gritty. So we're looking at hexagram number 20. And of course, Nala is over here in my lap. She's like, "Get the show moving, Mama." Okay. So Kursan Hong calls this hexagram view. Benabel Wynn calls it critique, reassessment, audit yourself. And Patma Dave of Osho I Ching. And yes, Divine L, I don't know if you knew, but this artist who illustrated these cards is also the same artist that illustrated the Osho Zen Tarot. So Kursan Hong, and this hexagram view is wind over earth. What does that say? The libation is made, but the offering is withheld. Great punishment will befall. So is this sort of like the libation, but the masculine energy is blocking it? Let's take a look. And of course, we start from the bottom, the very bottom Yao, and work our way to the top. So viewing through a child's eye, blameless for common folks, wrong for a gentleman. Viewing from behind a screen, good omen for a maiden. Viewing my life, advances, retreats. There we go. Viewing the country's glory, auspicious to visit the king. Viewing my life, a gentleman should be faultless. Viewing others' lives, a gentleman should be faultless. So I figure I'll just go ahead and show you what the breakdown is. So how it looks. So see here at the top, we have wind over earth, and then the top. So then we actually start from the bottom. The first line is the bottom line of earth. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4 to 6, all 6 of the lines. Excuse my dirty fingernails. I was digging like crazy in the garden yesterday. And yeah, so there we go. So that's what it looks like. It's very beautiful. And then on the other page is the classical Chinese right there. Okay. As soon as I finish today, I'm going to head over to the hardware store. I need to get a watering can. I was going to get a hose, but I figured I don't need to spend that money right now. Just get a watering can because the garden's only 4 by 4 by 4. All right, so let's break down the hexagram into the bagua. The first bagua is earth, and we've read earth so many times, this element. We should probably know it by heart. Receptive, receptivity, fertile womb, just thinking off the top of my head, but let's get there. Receiving, receiving direction, yielding, receptivity, submission to heaven, nurturing force, divine yin, receptive energy, that which yields, material world. The element is the earth, direction is southwest, season yellow path, cardinal spring, season low shu 9 halls, summer solstice, life aspect, love and relationships, and motherhood. Medically, it's relating to the stomach, digestion, spleen, and pancreas. The chakra is the central seed, the beginning of creation. The archetype is the dreamer, the visionary. The immortal is Lon Kai He, patron of artists, creatives, intuitives, peripatetics. And the empowered state of earth is hexagram number 2. And of course, every time I go through the different bagua and the elements, I start to understand how the hexagram, the total of it, gets its meaning and its name. And I was just looking at the immortal, because at first you think, how is this the immortal? Is this hexagram for artists and creatives? But if you think about it, artists and creatives, there's this deep nurturing and this being receptive to the energies around us so that we can translate them and give and birth that energy into physical manifestation through our art. So it's quite apropos. How does it go? Apropos, whatever. Brain's not awake yet. That the element for artists is earth, because there has to be a certain type of grounding and a certain type of knowing who you are and being close to that divine womb, the divine yin, to birth. And that is for men or women. We do all have an energetic womb, which is our dantian, our center seed, beginning of creation. So we always must nurture that earth element. Get out and ground yourself. Walk in the forest. Walk in the woods. It is, some people say, shouldn't you keep using that word healing? We're not broken, but it grounds us to help us remember our true nature, our true self. Okay, so wind. I'm full of hot wind. Wind is the top bagua. Wind, gentle thoughts, entering gently, proceeding conscientiously, flexibility, adaptability, influence, sensitivity, responsiveness, pervasiveness, assimilation. And the element is wood. Think of flute, your woodwinds. The direction is southeast. The season, yellow path, winter solstice. Season, low shu 9 halls, cardinal spring. I'm going to have to show you guys what the low shu 9 halls looks like. I think I have it in one of my books from B.MSc. Life aspect. Season, low shu 9 halls, cardinal spring. Life aspect, wealth, finances, assets. Medically, it's related to the thighs, legs, respiratory system, parasympathetic nervous system, large intestine, depression, mental wellness. The chakra is the sacral chakra. The animal is the fowl. The archetype is the martial artist. Think of the Tai Chi or the martial art, the martial artist, the Tai Chi, the Qigong practitioner, any of them. They're not just moving in gentle movements. They're following the flow of the chi, of the ki, of the energy, of the wind, of the ruach, which is wind in Hebrew. Ruach Kodesh, the Holy Spirit. The immortal is Heijiangu, patron of women diviners, female miracle workers, sorceresses, witches. So this bagua of wind is for us females. So there you go. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this over. All right. So if I can find the Lo Shu 9 halls in here, I will show it to us. Okay, so what does hexagram number 20 have to say according to the divine Miss Wynn? Hexagram number 20, critique, assessment, audit yourself. There is a need for contemplation. There's a need for contemplation, seeing, but not understanding, like a child. It's interesting because, yes, contemplation is not the same as analyzing. Only adults analyze. Children just experience. They see. They're there. They're enjoying. They're not breaking things down into their components. Now, there are some kids who do that in certain moments. My second oldest son, Jordan, which he was a guest on this channel years ago when he graduated Tufts University in physics, and he came on and talked about physics and spirituality. When he was 4 and 5 years old, he would do 500-piece puzzles by himself. I don't even have the patience for that. Yep, that is analyzing. He would take cars and line them up, front to back in a vertical line, and just line up his cars. And now I'm connecting that to his personality right now. He's getting his PhD in physics at University of Chicago. He analyzes, he overthinks everything. He's an Aquarius. All right, I digress. Let me get back. Nala's like, get back on target, mama. There is a need for contemplation, seeing but not understanding. Like a child, you see the circumstances going on around you, but you fail to grasp the ramifications. Kings past call upon the four guardians of the universe to aid them toward the correct guidance of their people. You must do the same. It is a time for quiet introspection and self-reflection before you proceed. Reevaluate the inquiry at hand and restate for yourself what your motivations are. If your true motivations do not align with the divine, adjust your motivations. Only after sincere contemplation should you return for a second divination. So there you go. It was only in the last couple of years, last year or two, that I learned that Aquariuses, it has nothing to do with aqua. It has nothing to do with water. Even though they're called water bearers, I heard, is it true that Aquarius is an air sign? I'm like, what? Say what? So that was what B.MSc Wynn had to say. And of course, I opened the book directly. Brother Brown. Why do I say that? Brother Brian, Brother Walker. I opened the book directly to Is that hexagram 20? Yes, hexagram 20, Quan, and contemplation. Contemplation. And I'm thinking this is where Kuan Yin gets her name. Contemplation. One who hears the cries of the world, mercy and compassion, one who contemplates the cries of the world, Kuan Yin. By concentrating on the higher, what does that say? Higher laws, you acquire the power that underlies them. In Chinese, the word Quan can mean either contemplation or setting an example, depending upon how it's pronounced. This hexagram incorporates both meanings for what it teaches us to set an example for others through our own contemplation of proper principles. A fundamental fact of consciousness is that we take on the attributes and energy of that upon which we focus our attention. In studying and meditating on the I Ching, we are concentrating on that underlying principle that governs the universe. Through contemplation of the wisdom of such principles as independence, detachment, modesty, acceptance, and tolerance, we begin to embody them in our own lives. Their power informs our actions and practices, and we begin to have great influence as a result. And Pavel said, like my eight. Yes, like my eight. The hexagram comes to indicate that you need to make a self-correction and return to contemplation of proper principles. Hallelujah. That the spirit welled up in me and was like, can I get a amen, amen. By sacrificing the harsh judgments of your ego and asking the sage for guidance, you free yourself from hindering influences and increase your merit and thereby your ability to have influence. It is in the quiet contemplation of what is correct that we become detached from anxious emotions about the situation that face us. And I can definitely attest to that. Yeah, it is so true. The detachment gives us the balance and calm to choose solutions which are in accordance with the higher laws. In other words, when we allow ourselves to detach and to really contemplate, we begin to choose, really be able to take the higher ground. When you're not contemplating, when you're not stepping back and reassessing yourself, not the other person, when you're reassessing yourself, you are better able to, let's see, okay, you're better able to know who you are, know what is important to you, and not succumb to the situation. Okay, so where were we? It is the quiet contemplation of what is correct that we become detached from anxious emotions about the situation that face us. The detachment gives us the balance and calm to choose solutions which are in accordance with the higher laws. In so doing, we gain, hold on one second. In so doing, we gain the aid of the creative in everything we do, and others are drawn to this strength. Truly we gain the ability to lead through contemplation of the principles of our own leader, the sage. So we all have our inner sage. And when I was reading that, three cards came to mind. Can't lie. Three cards came to mind. And what were those cards? Um, one of the cards was 3 tarot cards. The one card was Temperance. The other card is the Strength card. And I know there was another. The Justice card comes to mind because I do think of, like, the Justice card also reminds me a little bit of contemplation because of the scales being held and the sword. So I think of the sword as the intellect, and the scales, I think of light as a feather and the heart. So I do think of that as contemplation. And you have the Temperance card, um, the High Priestess card. Can you guys think of any other cards that might remind you of contemplation? Okay. We're going to check in, see what our sisters and brothers sojourning this planet with us have to say. Get in our critter energy. So we're going to look at the animal spirit. Check out the animal spirit deck. The realm of the twos. There you go. So 1. The elk. Elk. So what does Brother Elk have to say to us? Interesting. And this is an earth element. Okay, going through the earth cards. Elk. Stable, resilient, headstrong. The father. The father. The great elk represents the earth element in its masculine form. This means it provides underlying support and stability amidst life's many changes. An elk personality, whether male or female, is fully established in themselves and knows their own core values. So I can link that back to Lilith. She knew herself. She knew her core values. She knew her power. And she was not going to accept anything less. That is stability. That is true grounding. They become known and respected for acting in ways that uphold those values. Sometimes the elk's ego can become inflated, but for the most part, they make damn good fathers, mothers, lovers, and friends. The world needs more elk energy. So let's all embody elk energy from Father Elk. So when we finish this live stream, let's go out and walk in the woods. And if you can, take your shoes off and feel Mother Earth. Connect with that energy. Know your power. Know yourself. Okay. And last but not least, we're going to pull one of the Spirit Keepers Tarot, the Vitruvian edition. Benebell she's already, I don't know if the orders are closed or if she's doing a limited edition, but she is her 3rd tarot deck. This woman she is astonishing. She's an artist. She is a corporate attorney. She's a Libra. And she creates these beautiful tarot decks, and all of that good Libra energy creates her 900-page book of maps for the serious of the serious. Okay, so Let's see what we have for today. Ooh. I mentioned the High Priestess card earlier. And she's like, you're not just going to mention me, you're going to pay me some honor. So let's see what the High Priestess has to say. Look at all the beautiful elements in this card. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Okay, the High Priestess. And speaking of twos, Divine L mentioned two. The High Priestess is key two. Key two, the Priestess. This is Sophia, or wisdom personified. She guides you toward the deepening and broadening of your knowledge. The priestess is the queen of the angels. This key marks the threshold into the sanctuary of Isis. When the priestess appears to you, she instructs on the cultivation of your wisdom. Bring that back to contemplation and intuition. The summation of your choices you have made and the landscape of thoughts you have painted for yourself have taken you to the threshold of a particular path. And that path awaits you behind the veil of the priestess. The sign of the pomegranate here portends fruitfulness behind the veil of the priestess. Wait a minute, I messed that up. The sign of the pomegranate here portends fruitfulness when you learn the teachings of the path. Yes, you are headed in the right direction. You are doing exactly what you need to cultivate the knowledge for success. We go back to assessment, audit yourself, critique yourself, contemplation. The priestess now calls you to advance that knowledge of your path and to read the literature of wisdom. Isis also means throne. Now, what would be some literature of wisdom? Your own heart center, studying your heart, knowing yourself. Isis also means throne. The sanctuary of Isis is the throne room of your inner temple. This is the seat of the monarch, where you preside in majesty and from where you command the architecture of your great work. Bring up that Lilith energy, knowing your power, knowing yourself. When the priestess has called to you, your work to be endeavored upon now is one of esoteric knowledge, of mysteries that are known only to the few. So there you go. Know yourself, know thyself, contemplate your own heart. Okay. So we've gone for about 40 minutes 43 minutes, 44 minutes. And we've reached the end of our sojourn for this morning. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed what was in your cup. Please remember to thumbs up this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Soon I want to start doing some lives in the evening. I just have to pick an evening when I'm not ready for bed. And what I want to do is do some Lenormand readings. I got my Art Nouveau Lenormand deck. You can check out a past video where I did an unboxing. It's not in this box. So in this box I have 22 major arcana and Benebel's Bone Script Oracle. But This deck is beautiful, and I want to get some practice readings in, so I think we're going to do that soon. So anyway, I wish you peace and great bliss. Let's step into our Lilith energy, know our power, know ourself, be willing to express our authentic self. Remember Father Elk. Remember Father Elk, and get out into the woods and connect with Mother Earth. Love you guys. Thank you. And until next time, keep going. Wish you peace and great bliss.